oil. But that's only an 18% extension of life in these Wistar rats. With the ESS60 molecule, it was a 90% extension of life, out to 62 months.
And at 73 years old, to be able to say, I still work full time. I love my work. I'm doing better than I ever have in my life because of my work. It's because of the frequency of this product.
And the summary is, we believe we're reducing the negative impact of stressed mitochondria. And if you reduce the negative impact of stressed mitochondria, you should have systemic benefits. You should actually have what we have, which are head-to-toe testimonials.
All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back once again to another very special episode of Red Pill News. As always, my name is ZakPaine, the corruption detector, and I am joined by my two very esteemed colleagues and guests. You know them, you love them. First of all, Chris Burres from ESS60 and C60 Evo, and of course, Patti Greer from the same. Patti, it is lovely to see you. How you doing?
Thank you. It's lovely to see you, and I'm definitely cocked and locked and ready to rock today. I've got my slightly less than friendly shirt on, but it's my warning that goes with my Moldavite rings. Ooh. I'm on fire today. I'm super excited because I've got a new life plan.
Ooh, well, that sounds important and obviously something we're going to want to touch on. But first, I want to hear from Chris. Chris, how are you today, buddy? And yes, just so everybody is aware, we are 100% recording. Definitely. Just nobody knows this because we didn't mention it last time, but we had an unfortunate glitch somewhere in the first couple of minutes where we were recording. I must have hit a button or something. I don't know. Maybe it was something with OBS. Anyways, we stopped recording, and very quickly when I realized it, I screamed an expletive, and then we got back into it. So, but yeah, here we are.
And we recreated it with absolute perfection.
Yes.
No, everything's good here. I don't know if you guys are in a position. I'm excited to jump into a shot.
Yes, we can do that.
I forgot my spoon, so I'm just going to hit the bottle.
Okay. No, I have to get around.
Cheers.
Get around my microphone here, but
C60 Evo olive oil, and the reason we do it at the top of the show is to boost the brain power. Amen.
Salud.
Cheers.
All right. So yes,
I remembered to run it through my teeth. It's so good for your gums.
Yeah, I'll tell you that later. But Chris, how are you? How you been?
Yeah, no, everything's good over here. I'm excited to hear what Patti has to share. This is going to be new to me.
Okay.
So I'm also excited. I do have a presentation on aging. We'll get to that eventually.
Perfect. Well, Patti, I feel like that's such an appropriate subject because a little birdie told me that you might have just had a birthday. Is that correct? Did I hear that correctly?
Did.
Okay.
I did.
All right.
And I'd like to say I'm 90 so I can feel really young saying 73, but I just turned 73.
Wow, I wouldn't have guessed.
No.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I went to an ice cream social with some people even older than me, and when I said my age, they looked at me like, "And you're doing that? And you're working?" And I was like, "I love my work." So Chris, don't panic. I am still the queen of Evo, but the other pieces of my life, I think, are about to change. I've been so politically minded that how many years? 25 years. So I haven't missed a darn thing. And being a documentarian on C60 Evo, my brain is like tick, 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 tick. And because I don't want to forget things, I screenshot. So I've got files a go about what we've just lived through. And you've got this amazing, brilliant audience that has watched it pretty closely. Yeah. Thus the shirt, like, don't mess with me. Thus the Moldavite, I know what I'm doing. And I don't mean tough girl. I just mean I'm excited about life again. And at 73, I realized, shoot, next thing I know, I'm going to be another number, and then I'm going to be 80, and I want to really enjoy myself. And my kids have been like me watching the politics of Colorado.
Yeah.
And it's a disgrace. I'm so embarrassed that we're run by low-life entities, just not even connected to a soul whatsoever, that all they do is just hide amendments to make things worse for the citizens, blah, blah, blah. I don't even want to go into it because it's so boring to me now. And my kids, with grandkids, just gave up on the local politics. Their school was totally tranny. The teachers were a man one day, a woman one day. The teacher can't decide, the music teacher, what it is. And the kids don't ask questions because it's not polite, Grandma. It's just like, I looked at my daughter and I was like, this is not our frequency.
Yeah.
What's going on in Colorado? It's just, and if you can't fix it. Now, I live in a really sweet house, which I've loved, but then they put 29 cell towers up the canyon. I fought it with both knuckles up. And what, you're fighting Com China?
Yeah.
Paying politicians in Colorado where they're all stupid and, give me the money, I'll do it against the people. The sound in my house, because I wear Moldavite and I keep my brain really clean with Evo, I hear the dirty electricity. So my kids bought a big RV and they have been road schooling for 3 months. At first I was so sad. This was my fun, I mean, the grandkids and I got to be crazy again. And now it's like there's all these grown-ups and they're boring. So when my kids leave, they're like, do you mind taking our 20 plants? So now I've got plants all over the house that are mine plus hers. So I've got this great jungle. And then they gave me their 18-year-old cat that's been huddled up in the closet for, 2 years since they got the couple of dogs. So this cat, 18-year-old Uma, is coming out of her shell.
Cool.
Now, when Kelly said, would you, I really don't want to put her down. She's 18, but, she just deserves a life. And I was like, she's been in the closet. She can barely walk. She's all, at least brush her before you give her to me. I'll take her when you guys leave. So now I'm like devastated. Okay, so I've turned that all around. I just turned 70 friggin' 3. And I'm like, what am I doing sitting here in all this filthy electricity when my kids are only 2 or 3 days away by car? Do I take a train? So I've been looking at trains and I was like, oh, the reviews are icky. Okay, I got an RV right out front, but it is work because I'm 73.
Right.
You got to set up this and plug in that and, and I'm like, and your point is like, get in the RV and go have some fun. Oh, but I got this cat. So I took a trip last week, got a cat sitter, plant sitter, but now I'm realizing that this little thing that I did for me and Uma, the C60 Evo cat lover set, one for me, one for her, she isn't even limping hardly. Like she is cruising around the house. She is waking me up at night because she wants to party sometimes, but she is so back. And it's because I started giving her the Evo and she lays and stretches out like no more cat in agony because I gave her C60 Evo for cats. Uma and I are about to take off in my RV and go have an adventure. So I found this club. Now, I used to ride with the Ladies of Harley. Oh my God, Denver chapter. I was a Harley rider for 10 years. I did 2 brunches with them and I was like, yeah, I'm not a tough girl and I don't pack, a gun. Yeah. I smile a lot. I'm super clean. My teeth are all in, so I'm not really Women of Harley Denver chapter. But it was fun. I got a taste of it. So now I'm looking at the Women on the Road RV clubs or Men on the Road RV clubs. I don't care, women, men, but there's clubs, there's support for anything we want to do. And the fact that my heart is opening back up to get back out, have more fun, I swear to God, it's this product, because nothing else would give me the courage to go do this. I don't absolutely love all the migrants that are hating us. And I'm going to be out in a nice RV, with a cat, So I got to take a lesson on my weapons that I have and, kind of tweak up, watch all. But I'm so excited. I'm going on the road with my cat.
That's pretty awesome. I was going to ask, if perhaps that maybe could be in the cards, if you could get, a carrier for if you have to leave the RV, or even get her a little kitty harness and a little leash, and then she can just walk along with you, or put her in a backpack or something like that.
You are so funny. You just listed the things I just purchased.
Okay, good, cool.
But you forgot Not the portable litter box was the glitch that I had.
Yeah.
I was like, what am I going to do? Oh God, I don't want to smell it in a 24-foot thing.
Yeah.
And there it was. Everything's called Travel Cat. And I'm just so excited about my travel club and my travel cat, and I'm on fire. So
Good stuff.
I am really excited. I got my friend to come water the plants once a week, close the curtains. I will still work my butt off. I will not leave without Starlink. So when I'm on the road doing shows, you might see me leaning back with a lake behind me, or who knows, a cat wrapped around my neck. Call it a cat collar.
That's great. Well, that's super exciting. I'm glad to hear that you've got that all planned out, because that is definitely one of the things that I personally would love to do when I get a little bit older. I mean, I spend a lot of time working myself, and the idea of being able to get away from the studio every now and then definitely appeals to me. So, yeah, very, very cool. Very, very cool. What kind of an RV do you have? I mean, is it like a big bus, or is it like a smaller Winnebago or something?
It's a Class B, which is like a Benz with a house on it.
Yes.
And it's 24 foot, and it's got a bed, a bathroom, a kitchen.
Wow, cool.
And, but I'm actually shopping for an even bigger one. I figure, you know what? If I'm going to be a nomad, because I'm reading about this whole new group of people that are successful in business, that have beautiful homes. Okay, so my kids, that's what they were. Now they're in an RV as nomads on the road. Theirs is really pretty. And they're meeting all these families that are homeschooling their kids. They are road schooling my 3 kids.
Cool.
So we're no longer in tranny school. And I'm sorry to call it that.
That's fine.
But it's just really disrespectful how they're treating children. And I'm into this word thing like Tracy Jaco, Michael's wife.
Mm-hmm.
And when I said the word nomad to my friend this morning, because my kids said at these RV places where now they stay 3 weeks at a time because they joined a club, gorgeous places. I said, did you go to see the waterfall? No, the kids really love the RV parks more than anything. It's families that are homeschooling their kids. It's like a whole new generation of frequency for people that still have a brain and that don't want to deal with the boring nature of being in a gorgeous neighborhood that they just cell towered and put crap on the wall. What's that called? The meters.
Yeah, smart meters.
Dirty meters. Yeah, smart meters. They did that to my house. I don't want to fight it anymore. And I'm strong enough, even though I'm supposed to be, 73 old and ailing and probably with a walker. I'm so over that. I just feel like I'm having a rebirth. As Chris can see, hasn't seen me smile this much in a while. I am wound up because I thought the cat was holding me back. Why would I want a litter box in my RV? That's just stupid. And then I went, because I want to travel and I don't want to be in a hurry to get home. And my brain, I did Evo in my coffee, and now I did a shot with you guys straight out of the bottle in front of people. I'm so excited. I can't stand it. I'm going to have to tone myself down because I did just order those things you mentioned. Good. The halter with the leash.
Yes.
The cat carrier. But, I sat there and even watched a veterinarian with her excitement to talk about she designed this special purse that you carry your cat in, the head comes out. I'm like, I'm all in.
That's awesome. So, if I can recommend, that when Smokey obviously is no longer with us, she passed away about a year ago, but before she had left, we used a product called Love Litters. It's completely natural. It's litter pellets that are made essentially from pine. So it's regenerative. It's totally natural. You can throw it into the woods. You can dig a hole and drop it into there. It's not toxic and all that stuff, but it completely neutralizes the scent of cat urine. And, obviously you're going to be living with it indoors. So as soon as she uses it to go to the bathroom, you'll probably be scooping it out. But it is the best litter that I have ever used. And, we had her for about 20 years. So I've gone through a lot of different kinds. So if I can recommend it, I think that would probably work pretty well for you in terms of making sure that it's tolerable and smells nice.
Thank you. Well, I might let you email that to me.
I can do that, yeah.
But this is just proof positive that C60 Evo for cats is a mind-boggling product. Chris does the science. I am one testimonial after another because I'm positive I would be dead with what I've been through if it wasn't for the C60 Evo olive oil. So thank you, world. Thank you, God. Plus God. God plus C60 Evo. Patty's back.
It's a winning combination. Well, Chris, let's talk about the science then. I understand you've also got a presentation for us directly related to the question of aging.
Yeah, so I think it's really interesting and is really excited for you, Patti. Like, go enjoy. Make sure you tune into the shows, and I know you will, but
I will.
go and enjoy. And we'll get to the point in this kind of story where this molecule is responsible for the single longest longevity experimental result on mammals in history, a full 90% extension of life. Very proud to share our lab provided the material, and our lab is mentioned in that. I'll come back to that. But as I've gone, over 5-8 years sharing this story, I do often get a reaction of, why do I want to live longer, right? And at first I struggled to understand why that was. And then it became clear that people can't separate living older from living in some state of infirmment, right? Mm-hmm. And Patti's just this great example, right? Get older and go do stuff, right? I did have a chance to have a conversation with a geriatric academic, and one of the phrases he said that I really appreciated was that nothing is age inappropriate. Right? Like we grew up, and certainly our parents grew up thinking, oh, at this point, you're supposed to slow down. No, you're like, when you slow down, everything slows down, including your physiology, including your mitochondria. In fact, like, that's kind of what we're talking about here today. When you think about aging, you're thinking about genomic instability. You're thinking about mitochondrial dysfunction. We're going to talk about that. You think about telomere attrition. So telomeres are these little end caps on our DNA that protect our DNA from damage, and they tend to shrink with age. And there may be some evidence, there's some reason to believe that this ESS60 molecule can play a beneficial role there. And then cellular senescence, we're also going to talk about that. Really, the application of ESS60, it's a blueprint for total systemic restoration. You think about this horrible aging spiral. This is, we think of this as this downward spiral, starting with your mitochondria, which produce reactive oxygen species. Those are the things that cause oxidative stress in our body. When you have this reactive oxygen species, at least more than can be managed internal to the mitochondria, it starts to damage the mitochondria. So all of these little folds on this mitochondria are actually mitochondrial membranes, and it starts to damage those, and also damage the membranes of your cell. So this is lipid and DNA corrosion. Then both this ROS and mitochondrial damage start to trigger inflammation. And that inflammation is, there's a phrase, inflammaging, which is this confluence of inflammation and aging, this understanding that inflammation is kind of a root cause of all aging. And this, inflammatory cytokine storms start kicking in here. That was in the middle of COVID. It was the cytokine storm that was actually doing most of the damage. And all of this inflammation increases reactive oxygen species, further mitochondrial damage. This is a complete cellular and systemic power failure. That inflammation, right, that end piece fuels a vicious cycle of energy decline, oxidative damage, and systemic power failure. And we think that the ESS60 molecule can play a role. So first off, what is the molecule? The molecule is this beautiful soccer ball shaped looking molecule discovered in 1985 at Rice University. That's here in Houston, where our lab is based. The three scientists, Dr. Smalley, Dr. Curl, and Dr. Kroto, who discovered this molecule, went on to win the Nobel Prize in 1996. So a short 11 years from discovery to being awarded the Nobel Prize. I'm very proud to share our lab started manufacturing and distributing it in 1991, a full 5 years before the Nobel Prize was awarded. Excuse me, it's not unreasonable to suggest that because we were delivering this material to scientists around the world and they could actually experiment with it, they knew how valuable it was as part of the reason, or at least impacted the timing of these three scientists getting the Nobel Prize. Now, the molecule is amazing. It performs as well or better than the current best material in almost every application. So it makes better inks, better batteries, better tires, better photocells. This is where people often get nervous. They can even get a little bit more nervous because this shape right here up front It's not the same chemical formula, but it is the same shape as benzene. Benzene is known to be toxic, known to be carcinogenic. Because that shape occurs 20 times on the exterior of this ESS60 molecule, they thought it would be toxic, and they put it in a toxicity study. This is where, history starts to change. Certainly Patty's life, my life starts to change, because they take this molecule and they put it in a toxicity study. Well, it was supposed to be a toxicity study. In that study, they gave one group of rats water. That's a control group. One group was given olive oil, semi-control group, and the other was given olive oil with as much of the ESS60 molecule as we can get to dissolve in it. A typical Wistar rat lives about 32 months, and that's what happened to the control group here, right? They were just given extra water, so no impact on their longevity. It's important to note that the olive oil rats lived 18% longer, so they lived out to 38 months. There's lots of people on the web, in health and wellness space, talking about the value and health of olive oil. Absolutely true. I love what Dr. Gundry says. He says the purpose of food is to get more olive oil into your mouth. Of course, a little bit of facetiousness there, but absolutely, that's how valuable he sees olive oil. But that's only an 18% extension of life in these Wistar rats. With the ESS60 molecule, it was a 90% extension of life, out to 62 months. Very proud to share. This was a Patti study. That's what people typically call this study. Published in 2012. Our lab provided the material, and our lab is actually mentioned in that original study. You can imagine this changed my role from being that of the chief scientist of a carbon nanomaterial manufacturing business, which I still am today, to the chief scientist of a health and wellness supplement company. And my first goal was to try and figure out what was going on with this. Like, why did these rats live longer? Why are we getting such amazing testimonials? The first place that I landed was on sleep. And the reason we landed here is our most consistent testimonials. People take the product in the morning, they report mental focus and energy during the day, and then better sleep that night. Couple important pieces there. The first is, if that's all we did, right? If we just help sleep, everybody knows that sleep is good for your mental, physical, and emotional well-being. Right. So that's a giant check mark on sleep. The other thing that's really unique about it, and really gives credibility to the boss theory that we'll talk about here in a second, is taking something in the morning and positively impacting sleep at night. I've been asking around scientists, influencers, anybody will actually let me ask a question. Are you aware of anything that you can take in the morning that will positively impact your sleep at night? And there isn't any. No. Right? You can certainly get exercise in the morning that'll help you sleep. You can get some exposure to the sun that'll get your circadian rhythm in line with the rising and falling of the sun. That will help you sleep. But I haven't found anything other than this product that will help you sleep at night when you take it in the morning. The next thing is, I kind of asked myself, okay, these rats live 90% longer, right? And they're rats, not humans, but they live 90% longer. What does the medical community think about aging? And they don't all agree, but they tend to think of it as an oxidation and an inflammation process, right? Mm-hmm. In terms of an antioxidant, there's an ad hoc study on the web showing our product to be 172 times more powerful than vitamin C. There's peer-reviewed published research showing us to be 125 times more powerful than vitamin C. So, we're in Texas. That's a big old check mark next to antioxidant. Mm-hmm. When it comes to inflammation, you have to be really careful because the FDA equates conversations of inflammation with the diseases of inflammation, which are also the diseases of aging. So arthritis, Alzheimer's, cardiovascular disease, cancers. So if I come on your show and I share that we address inflammation, what the FDA hears me is claiming I cure cancer, I cure cardiovascular disease. We are not making that claim. There is so much research that we need to do, so much, frankly, expensive research in order to start making those claims. We're starting clinical trials, hopefully before the end of this year, that will help us start making some claims, very serious claims. But the FDA will allow us to say that we address inflammation, at least as it relates to exercise-induced inflammation. But I'm like a scientist to the core, and like, okay, great. Deep sleep, but that doesn't explain why deep sleep. Great, antioxidant. Okay, I understand that one. Great, inflammation. Well, what's the process and how is that driving being an anti-inflammatory, at least as it relates to exercise? And this is where we land on the boss theory. So Oh, I forgot to mention, because deep sleep was so important, we actually did an ad hoc study. We did survey questions, 10 days. It's called a crossover study. So we collected 10 days of survey data about sleep from the participants for 10 days before they took the product, 10 days on the product, 10 days back off the product, and then 10 days back on it. You can see this chart does a great job of showing improvements when people were taking the product. Even more important than that, as you went by individual basis in this small cohort of participants, 100% of them reported improvements in sleep when they were taking the product.
Very nice.
And then we get to the BOSS theory. So the BOSS theory, it stands for Buffering Oxidative Stress System. And the reason that there's credibility for this is, first, there is peer-reviewed published research showing this ESS60 molecule inside of the mitochondria. And then there is also, from way back in the 90s, we know that this molecule can hold up to 6 negatively charged particles on the exterior of the cage. So this is what it looks like. A healthy mitochondria, like any power source, produces a negative byproduct. You think about your car going down the road, right? There's exhaust. You think about a power plant, there's a smokestack. In the case of mitochondria, it's reactive oxygen species. I like to think of these at like little bumper cars, right? If they're left to their own devices, they're running around your body, and everything they smack into, they cause oxidative stress, oxidative damage, ultimately inflammation. Which sounds bad, and it is bad, but our biology has a way to manage this, and that is the internal antioxidants, glutathione and melatonin. I always like to pause here. Melatonin is the sleep hormone, and our most consistent testimonial involves sleep. So you can see here in this healthy mitochondria, you've got these baby blue reactive oxygen species. They've been bonded by glutathione or melatonin, and so they're not running around like little bumper cars doing damage. But what happens when you stress a mitochondria? Well, that's the whole point of this kind of conversation about aging and how your mitochondria are stressed. They're not operating at full efficiency, and you can see that they can manage some of the reactive oxygen species that are coming off, but your mitochondria start producing more reactive oxygen species than can be managed internally. And that's it, where if they're left to their own devices, they'll run around like little bumper cars and cause that rust, cause that oxidative damage. And that's where the ESS60 molecule shines. Again, from peer-reviewed published research, it's in the mitochondria, and you can see it here holding on up to 6 of these negatively charged particles, so they can't run around like little bumper cars causing rust and oxidative stress, oxidative damage. And then when that mitochondria is able to replenish the glutathione, replenish the melatonin, then it's able to manage those reactive oxygen species appropriately and without the damage. So we're not saying that this is replacing glutathione or replacing melatonin or even doing the same role. We're saying it's just giving some buffer, some room for your mitochondria to do the job that it was naturally supposed to do. And the summary is, we believe we're reducing the negative impact of stressed mitochondria. And if you reduce the negative impact of stressed mitochondria, you should have systemic benefits. You should actually have what we have, which are head-to-toe testimonials. I know Patti likes to kind of describe this a little bit of a different way, so I'll turn it over to her to break it down for you.
Thank you. I do translations from science lingo to the generic public. And all of this conversation really is about detoxing your mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of every cell. And if you're detoxing your mitochondria, you're going to feel and look better. And when we realize that there's 2 million mitochondria in the brain per cell compared to 50 to 5,000 mitochondria in the rest of the body, nothing in blood cells, but 2 million in the brain, we're going to really see a benefit. My testimonial is, I am proud to say, my mother turned 97 yesterday.
Wow.
And the day before her birthday, I turned 73. And she called me, and the first thing she said was, "I'm sorry, I can't sing." And I said, "Mom, that you can remember my birthday at 90, almost 7. That I love." And so we started talking about my childhood. She remembers everything at 97. Her only problem is that most of her friends have died, had strokes, this, that, but she's had as many things in the arm as they have, and she's on Evo. As long as I've been on Evo, my mom's been on Evo, and she has outlived all of her friends and her family members, and I don't think she's leaving anytime soon, I hope, but 97 years old, she still has novels next to her chair that are inches thick. she reads every day.
That's good.
So she watches crap news, so she hates the people we love, and she reads novels. So I bought a birthday card that was so great. I wanted to give it to her, but it's got this guy on it, and I was like, yeah, it's not even funny to her. But I did buy these greeting cards, and right down the street from where she lives, I couldn't believe, is I walked in this store called Patriot Store.
Oh, cool.
I'd seen it a few years ago, and I said to my kids with the baby, I said, drop me off. Walk the stroller down, but drop me off. I got to see what the Patriot Store is. And they didn't have any of this. They had like sweet things, so I ended up with something subtle, but I did buy my 24 karat gold plated cards. It's a whole deck for $15. Now they actually say it's gold plated.
Very cool.
Like, how can it be unless he's just like giving us this little gift? So I opened it up and they're all slick gold, and everything just started to slip out of my hand because they're slippery, beautiful cards. But the one that stuck was the King of Hearts. Anyway, yeah, Mom's not getting that either for her birthday, or she'll hate me. But the point I bring up is that the belief system on the American earth right now is causing us to have such dissension between friends, family, neighbors. One more reason for me to pack up in my RV and leave, because I live in Colorado and they're just stuck, and it shouldn't be my problem. So it's not going to be real soon. But I don't think if I wasn't taking this, I probably would be a typical 73-year-old who, except that I was extreme. I was the sample of the UFO field leaving. And the fact that I'm still here, I'm one of the only ones, other than Laura Eisenhower, that made it. I'm really proud, and I'm proud of our product. And the reason Chris and I, as opposite as people could be with belief systems, maybe we're all of a sudden starting to talk the same. So I don't know. The product bridges gaps because it just helps enhance your brain, your consciousness. I mean, if your brain is waking up this much, imagine your pineal gland, right?
Yep.
It's just making people kinder, more patient. Of course, Lionel Nation said, no, it's making me more intense. It's like whatever you want to be. You've got the brain power to do it when you take this product.
Lionel's pretty intense to begin with, so. So
Yep.
this right. So this kind of mitochondrial, the boss theory, brings us all the way back to this vicious age cycle, right? The oxidative stress. We talk about the oxidative advantage. We're working as an antioxidant. That mitochondrial dysfunction. Talk about the ESS60 molecule giving your mitochondria the breathing room so that they can actually do their job, and ultimately leading to chronic inflammation. If we can address two of these, maybe we're impacting the third. And I think that's what we think is going on here. When people ask, they'll often ask me, hey, what might I experience on your product? And we think of it as a 3-month experience, right? And it has parallels with our most consistent testimonial of people taking the product in the morning, reporting mental focus and energy during the day, and then better sleep that night. Month 1 is really about focus and energy. We got some product to an influencer. She took some product in the morning, recorded a video that night, and she pointed out that she didn't finish her cup of coffee. If you're a coffee drinker, that's a big deal. I can share I am a coffee drinker. I used to be a 2 to 3 cup of coffee per day person. I'm now really down to half or one. It's all about the ritual. It's not driving my alertness anymore. Month 2 is sleep. We really think about sleep at month 2 because every day people get a little bit more or less sleep. And so it can take a while for them to realize that the sleep has gotten consistently better because of the C60 Evo. I lean on one particular testimonial here. My business coach said that for 50 years he needed an alarm clock to wake up. When he started taking this formula, he wakes up before the alarm clock. Now, I point out he's going to late night mixers, going to late night dinners. None of that matters except if he doesn't get the product for 10 days, he starts to need the alarm clock again. And that coincides with the data in the literature that this molecule clears out of your system in about 10 days. And then finally, when you're reducing the negative impact of stressed mitochondria, you get the systemic mitochondrial benefit systemically, right? And what we have, which are head to toe testimonials, and a lot of those testimonials are just so powerful we can't share them yet. We've got to go do the research to share them, which is why we're doing a frequent headache study, why we're doing an HSCRP study, which is a inflammatory marker, why we're doing a more formalized sleep study, and why we're doing a wrinkle and age spot study. So that's the kind of stuff that we end up seeing. My father was walking with a cane at about the 3-month mark. He stopped using the cane, started walking farther. Because he was walking farther, he lost weight, and that just became this amazing cycle, right? The opposite of this downward spiral. It became this amazing cycle, and that's what we see in about month 3. And I see Patti brought a guest.
Oh, she's here. Look at that.
This is Uma. She's 18.
She's beautiful.
Isn't she beautiful?
Yes, I love those colors.
Well, she's on her comeback tour, and she doesn't love to be picked up. That's why I went off camera for a minute. I had to go get some treats and shake them in a bottle and tempt her. But beautiful girl. She's no longer crippled, no longer living in a corner of a closet. She's going to be a road kitty.
Good girl.
Right, Uma?
Aw. She's super sweet.
Patti, I know you, and I know you are following. You're following the reviews also. Every now and then I get somebody who's like, oh, my cat didn't like it at first. And, that's true of cats almost always, if you make any change to their food. But if you just leave it for a little while, then they jump into it. Did you have any, with Uma, did you have any kind of challenges getting her to take the product?
No, she's been a Evo cat for years.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So if there was a problem, it's long since passed.
She was an Evo cat, but she lived in a corner of a closet because the dogs would attack. There was also a 22-year-old cat that they just put down. So Evo cats, 18 wow. and 22. And they put down the other one before the RV, and my daughter's just looking at me, Uma won't make it in the RV. And I'm like, I don't want a crippled cat. She's not crippled anymore. She is my Evo wonder. My mom is my Evo wonder. And I just had a birthday, which, for some reason I hid when I turned 70, I was like, don't tell anyone. But now I'm just like, I feel really empowered, strangely empowered. And I don't know if it was the great coffee I had today. No, it's the ordering, the surrender of saying, I'm not going to be a victim to this place I live. I'm just not. There's so much world to see. And when my daughter said, all these successful people are becoming nomads and they're loving it. And they look at their fancy house that's now an Airbnb and they're making money as they're traveling and they're going to all these neat places. She said the nomad life is the way to go. And this morning I went, look at that word, nomad. No-mad. I like that. Not going to be mad anymore, nomad.
I love it.
So the other word I found interesting, because I'm all of a sudden into wordsmithing, was, and I don't mean to act like I've got an attitude about men that dress in women's clothing that tried to be the mayor of our town recently. Thank God it lost. I don't know what to say, he, she, her, them. I can't do that. I'm not good at it. But my friend who's really into the Bible, I said, what did the Bible say about the trans movement and the trans whole thing? And they very clearly called it an abomination. And I said, wow, Obama nation. I mean, so perfectly explained, because he brought it.
He did.
He delivered it full bore. It destroyed my best friendship of 19 years because she still thinks he's wonderful, I'm guessing. I don't know. She won't talk to me. But this was an interesting birthday because people from the past, she all of a sudden private message Facebook said, happy birthday, thinking about you. And it was like, phew. But I heard from a not kindergarten, high school, junior high friend, and long phone call. I haven't heard from her in years. What this is saying to me, I got so many birthday wishes from people that I haven't heard from in a long time, wishing it would be ex-boyfriends, but I think, who knows if they're still alive. But I feel like people are coming around across the world right now. I think that we have been shown the worst of the worst, those of us that are looking. You with your show, anybody doing shows, unfortunately, we're all looking. I envy the people that have no idea what's going on because they get to fly through it. But I lived 50 years before I knew anything about politics because I didn't care. Not my deal. But then it was in my face when I started getting poisoned and you couldn't sue the doctor. And, I just went, wait, how could this medical system be this broken and the legal system be this broken? And then I got wounded a couple times intentionally by people that didn't like that my films kept winning awards. Those two right there, two of them. But, when we're dealing with a low frequency that has no connection to their soul, we have to make a choice. And if you take C60 Evo and your brain's really functioning clean and clear, you're going to make the right choice. And I feel so excited because I'm finally taking my power back of, oh, I got a cat, I got a babysitter for the cat in the house. And no, now it's going to be, let's go have some fun. And I want to encourage everyone, get your brain back. FAFO, I mean, if you have to give people a lesson, I look at the people that really tried to ruin my body because I knew too much or whatever. I just, I wish you whatever, but I wish all of us a healthier life.
Yes.
And what I'm doing now is probably the greatest chapter of my work experience. And at 73 years old, to be able to say, I still work full time. I love my work. I'm doing better than I ever have in my life because of my work. It's because of the frequency of this product. Anybody taking it, almost anybody, notices the difference in their frequency. And I'm talking woo-woo compared to Chris, frequency, vibrations, But when you meet people that really are in trouble mentally and you see the difference after a year or two, I tell you, my favorite difference is David Nino Rodriguez on our product. That guy has a different personality, in my opinion. And I'm watching almost all of our influencers just soften but strengthen. We did one with Next News Network. He's got 2.25 million subscribers. And we were doing a show on those bad headaches that starts with an M. And I don't want us to have any trouble, but all of a sudden, he stopped the show 20 minutes in and said, I can't believe what just happened. I have to share. And Chris and I are like, uh-oh, what do we do? And he said, I was starting to get that halo because I was starting to get one of those monster headaches. And he said, I held up the bottle and I realized it was empty. And I had said to him, turn it upside down. And in a few minutes, lick the cap. So he turned it upside down. And I saw him licking the cap. And I wasn't sure why, but he did mention that his bottle was empty, so we sent him some more. But he said within minutes, only a few, the halo went away and he didn't get the monster headache. And there we were doing a show on what we're going to be doing a peer-reviewed study by the end of the year, we hope, on migraines, so we can talk about it. But we are getting a lot of people writing us, and he did it right on the air in front of a very big audience. He was like, I stuck my tongue in the cap, hardly got any. And I said, imagine if you got a full teaspoon. But he said it never came back that day.
That's great.
So this is pretty exciting, and if I could talk about the testimonials that I've read, the comments from people, it's really impressive. And it balances out the angry people that are like, it's so expensive or whatever. Why don't you try making ESS60? We're the only lab in America making it. There's a reason. And Chris has said repeatedly, if I knew what it would take to make this molecule, I probably wouldn't have done it. So I'm really glad they didn't know. They were college kids. But now that they've got the machines and the system, we're on autopilot. And sold a dozen to Japan the other day. Like, we are getting out across the world. Yesterday I saw a receipt from Ireland. To me, this is fun because all of you guys, your audience sees the difference in you. And they can see I'm ridiculously on fire at my age. There's no excuse other than perhaps maybe that I also have the big bottle. So I'm kind of greedy with myself. This is the 32-ounce bottle if you want to impress your friends, or if you want to be hardcore and just be able to take it whenever you want. But I recommend don't take it in the later part of the day because it gives you a lot of energy and you might not sleep as well at night. I sleep like a log. I'm in heaven with my sleep. And my mother at 97 sleeps like a log. So I'm a walking testimonial. Chris does the science, but I don't know anybody that hasn't benefited. All my kids do it except my 44-year-old daughter who's still nursing her new baby. At 44,
Wow.
she had a baby at 43. He's one now, but it was like the smoothest delivery. The nurses were like, they were all worried because she's so old, and it's like she's ready to have another one.
Wow. Man.
So yeah, I've got an Evo family. My family is very blessed by this product, and I'm really grateful that that's what I do for work now because it's helped your life. What has it done for you, Zach?
Well, I mean, I was hearing you tell the story about Gary, and the funny thing is, for me, I would never allow myself to run out of it. Like every time I know I'm about to, I make sure that we get some more here because I haven't had a migraine since I started taking it. And it was, kind of, I took it for granted. I mean, when I first noticed it, I was like, I had to think about it. And I was like, wow, I can't believe it because it was like clockwork. Like maybe once or twice a month, there would be one day where I couldn't do anything. I mean, like I had to go and lay down. If I had prescription migraine medicine that they gave me, Fioricet. And so I'd have to take that. And I would like pass out for a little bit and then I'd wake up and, I wasn't perfect, but I could do what I needed to do. There's always like residual effects going on and you kind of feel like woozy and maybe a little confused. And it's just not as easy to be able to gather your thoughts. And, and I have to do that. I mean, like I have to be 100% on point using my brain when I'm here on the air. And for me, it's just, there's no way I wouldn't allow myself to run out. I can't afford to, first of all, because I just don't want to ever be back in that position again. But for me, like that was 100% worth it.
Wow.
Yeah.
My mom at 97 has a helper that comes in 5, 6 days a week, just for a few hours a day. She's from the Philippines in her 50s. And she takes such good care of my mom. I sent an extra bottle of Evo one month. And about 3 weeks later, she called me and she said, I can't tell you how grateful I am because I used to have migraines so bad that I would get a shot every 3 months. I was like, you? How are you taking care of my mom? She said, I had them constantly and I haven't had any. Now it's been a year and she had one. That's it in a year.
It's notable, especially if she was having to do the shots. I mean, they offered those to me, and I didn't want to be tethered to a doctor in that way. And, if I did run out, I mean, if you're on medication, pharmaceuticals, and you need those pharmaceuticals to be able to survive, essentially, to be able to even just go about your day. When you run out, it's like the world is crashing down around you. And God forbid something happens like on a holiday or, after the pharmacy is closed. And then, it's just all kinds of anxiety and stress waiting until you can finally get there. Or what if something happens to your doctor? I mean, like maybe your doctor retires. I've had that happen to me before, too. Doctor retired. They didn't bother to tell me. So I show up at the office and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, you're no longer a patient here. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I've been coming here for years. And they're like, oh, well, your doctor left. He retired and he's no longer practicing. And I'm like, well, that would have been sweet if somebody would have called me or just like let me know about it, because you start over. You got to start all over. Anyways, I'm super grateful that I don't have to worry about any of that crap anymore.
Yeah, it's a gift. And we don't work with any influencers that don't do the products, period. We have Paul Begley, the pastor. He starts his shows yelling, "Are you serious?" But he no longer has to prick his finger and do all those things for the no sugar thing that he was dealing with. He's lost 75 pounds on Evo, and he no longer has that. He went down a list of all these medications that he no longer needs. And I'm not making a claim. I'm just repeating what he said after yelling, "Are you serious?" So the results are extreme, and I'm not scientific. I'm just somebody that is so grateful to be able to put this in my mouth every day and feel this good all day long. So this is our landing page for your group, and it's c60evo.com/redpill78. Yes. And if people go to that page, they're going to see this, which is when people say, what do you recommend? Where do I start? The olive oil is what we recommend because it is the strongest of the three oils that we manufacture, and it's been used in most of the peer-reviewed studies on this molecule in the last 34 years. C60 Evo organic olive oil. And it's not just olive oil, we import it from Tunisia. So this is really good organic, extra virgin, cold pressed olive oil from Tunisia, not your Costco down the street generic stuff. And we also started making a gorgeous skin product, which my mom at 97, I'll have to send a photo to you. Her skin is ridiculously good. And when she runs low, she lets me know. C60 Evo Advanced Facial Serum. It's got a base of chia seed oil, which is really like nobody's used it, but our formulator has written 20 plus books on raw foods. Raw is the law, rawsome, all these hippie things, but it's really going back to the earth and natural, wonderful remedies that help the body get better. It's finished with a rosemary oil, which has many benefits, but the scent on your skin and on your face is really lovely. When you combine that with the olive oil, you've got an inside out wonder of this miracle molecule. And down below, we call it the inside out set, which you'll see, but it's basically head to toe is that combination. So here's our top sellers, which is the olive oil. And we have 4 ounce, 8 ounce, 16, and the big ass bottle. Oops, 32. I'm just so wound. I'm too excited. The capsules are another version, which is for people that travel. They will not pull them out of your suitcase. And Chris is in heaven with his red red pointer. Oh, I love it. The capsules are for people that don't want to taste the oil on a spoon or pour it in your mouth, whatever. It's a wonderful remedy, and you can take it traveling in your briefcase, in your glove box, in your purse, whatever. Keep them in your pocket. Just pop a couple before, 2 or 3 in the afternoon. Do it early. And, it sustains your energy really nicely. And then here's the sampler set, which comes in 3 sizes, and it will give you a taste of all 3 oils. The MCT coconut oil, fantastic in your morning coffee. I do it every day. The avocado oil is wonderful on a spoon. It tastes nutty and delicious. And needless to say, avocado oil has its own benefits, as does MCT. So you've got these great organic oils plus the ESS60 molecule. It's a winning combo, and there's no other ingredients. It's clean and natural, and the olive oil, of course, is what we're known for. So going further down, not available on our, oops, okay, Chris is reminding me, if you want to save 20%, you sign up for a monthly subscription and you'll save 20% every month. If you don't love it, you can drop us an email or call us on the phone and we will cancel you immediately without asking questions. Most of the people end up coming back because 10 days it wears off and you realize, oh, I did really feel better. So, people come back. We are only offering this on your landing page, not on our website, a 3-pack special of our top sellers. And you'll save 18% if you buy 3 bottles of olive oil or 3 inside-out starter sets or 3 bottles of capsules. You will save 18% on the 3. And if you decide you want to buy 6, you will save 20%. And that's the same top sellers, the olive oil, the inside out starter set, or the capsules. And you will stock up, maybe share with your family and friends. Really good idea if you've got older parents that you love and you want to keep them around, send them a bottle and really encourage them to give it a go because it makes a big difference in their thinking. And I guess I'm that age they'd be talking about me, except I'm already detoxed and anti-aged and ready to hit the road. And then a case of 12, which we do about 1 a day lately, you save 25%, which is our biggest discount. And you can get that on any of the products if you buy by the dozen. And again, stock up, keep them just out of direct light, not in a window, not next to the stove or oven. Just put them in a cabinet and they'll last 2 to 3 years from the time of opening. And we encourage people share them because there's no greater gift to give anybody than something that actually makes them look and feel better. You go further down the page and you'll see our testimonials, which are, I mean, endless. We have 500 Google reviews or more. Our customer service gets rave reviews, but the products themselves, people tell the truth, and everybody's benefiting. So here's our single products if you just want to buy one. And again, you can buy them on a monthly subscription. The olive oil, the face serum, the Inside Out starter set, we have that in 2 sizes. And then there's the pet products, and you can get the dog formula or the dog and one for you called the dog lover set, or the cat formula, and it's flavored with salmon. The dog one is flavored with bacon. Pets absolutely love it. You just put a few drops on their food and you will see them seem to walk better, and their fur will start getting nicer. And cats and dogs just seem to live longer like we do with this product. And our last product that we came up with was the C60 Evo Rich Body Cream. And it is scented with tangerine oil and citrus. It smells so incredibly good and really nice on your skin. It's got 2 different ESS60 oils in it in the combination. And it's just all these products are infused with the ESS60, which is pure, clean carbon 60. And you only want to get ESS60 for people or pets because anything else is going to be pretty much industrial grade from China. So ESS60 you'll see on our labels. That means it is pure and clean and really good for you. So a little lower down, frequently asked questions. There's all kinds of data on our website, and then you can shop the whole store, blah, 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 as you go. But you want to start here on the landing page because there are the 3, 6, 12 special offers. And there's also a secret code for Red Pill 78 that'll get you $15 off at checkout. So remember, 20% you can save on monthly subscriptions on anything that you buy. And no problem if you want to cancel. More than 50% of our sales are resubscribes because once people get on it, we find that they stay on it. And we get a good chuckle when people quit. They seem to almost always come back. Yeah.
That's excellent. Well, I can tell you I certainly appreciate the fact that you guys do this, and big fans, both Lisa and I, and the dogs as well. They both get the pet formulas every single day. So thank you again for being here. You guys, in case you didn't hear that, in the description of this video, you can find the information, the link that Patti was just mentioning, c60evo.com/redpill78. And like she said, if you go past the landing page, just make sure that you use the coupon code, which is redpill78, and you'll get $15 off that order. So, Chris, anything before we close out for the day?
No, I think thank you for connecting with us again, sharing your own personal stories. That makes me feel amazing about this. Like, I'm just the luckiest guy. I get to be the geeky, sciencey guy who gets to share the mitochondrial science, and then at the end of the day, reap the rewards, which are all these amazing testimonials coming in about the product.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Patti, anything from you? When are you actually leaving on this cross-country excursion, the nomad life?
Well, I got my handyman coming Friday to tweak out my camper a little bit, get the water all filled up in my systems. Got to watch all the darn videos again because I'm not like autopilot with all these gadgets,
Sure.
But I've got a Z bag that goes down to 0 degrees. It's a double wide, so if the heat doesn't work, I'm fine. That's the only thing I had a tricky time with last time. But I think I watched that video. I gotta tweak it again. But there's a holiday coming up this weekend, they say. So I might wait till all that traffic goes away. But I'm really excited about the fact that once I leave, I don't have to be in a hurry to get back.
Right.
Because I've got a friend up in the top of Idaho. She's on the edge of the forest, and she swears there's Bigfoot there.
Ooh.
And I just may as well make that on my journey. My sister's at the Garden of the Gods, or no, what is it?
Yeah, there's Garden of the Gods.
There's Garden of the Gods in Colorado, but my sister's in Montana near the Highway to the Sun.
Okay.
Going into Canada.
Cool.
I did a lot of Harley trips and went up there, and we'd get to the border of Canada, and there's something I didn't want to throw away. And the lady that flew jets that I rode with had her Glock, and we looked at each other and said, "Yeah, hi, Canada." And we turned around and rode back. But, I'll probably just hit the border and cruise around. But I've got friends in different states, so I'm just going to let that be my goal. But mainly to catch up with my kids and see if they want me to come on their nomad journey. But when they were talking about all these families that are homeschooling their kids, road schooling their kids, to me, that's like the most brilliant thing, because my grandkids are 5, 7, and 11, and they're the smartest kids around, in my opinion.
Yes.
They don't wear shoes. They're into grounding. They cook most of their meals because they eat really healthy. But, to me, the power of taking your life back from the broken systems that we're watching collapse and crumble, it might be a little longer, but I swear we're more than 4/5 of the way through it. I really think that the abomination is about done. Everything's been exposed. I think there's been a lot of one-way tickets to Gitmo that we're not being told.
Sure.
A lot of people are saying, "Oh, MAGA's breaking down. We're all fighting." It's like, yeah, no, nope,
Yeah.
not buying it. So, if people just watch the shows that have positive messages, we're going to get through it a lot easier. And if you take Evo and you put this in your brain and you clean out all that toxic memory, you're going to have a much happier time. So I'm real grateful for my life now. I'm just feeling excited. And on the road, the first thing I pack is my Evo. I got my body cream, my face serum, my MCT for the morning coffee, my olive oil for the day if I want more. But I mean, it's so wonderful to have these products. And of course, Kitty gets C60 Evo for cats.
Yeah.
And I'll be really curious to see how she does.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you got to meet her. Her name's Uma.
Me too.
And who knows? I might start a new channel called Patty and Uma's Road Journey. Who knows?
You should. You totally should.
Yeah, you
totally
should.
All right. Well, listen, thank you, both of you. I really do appreciate it. Everybody at home, thank you for tuning in. And Patty, I wish you and Uma safe travels, and I hope that you guys continue to share with us the wonders of your journey on the road. I can't wait to hear about it.
Thank you. I'll see you next month
We'll see you guys.
with
Thanks,
an
Zach.
Bye-bye.
update.